Well, hello
That was something
everybody.
to say.
Welcome, welcome to Infinite
Howdy.
Horizon.
I like Olivia's pun better.
Where today the source of chaos is me. Um. Anyway, hi everybody. We're back. Um. Now at greater volumes, hopefully. I don't know what I'm doing over here, so it's possible that nothing has changed and nothing has noticeably adjusted. Anyway, hi everybody. We are back with Infinite Horizon. In case you're confused about what you were tuning in for. Before we get started, we have some announcements and reminders. First and foremost.
Chat's already making fun of you, just so you know.
What?
Chat's already making fun of you for
Oh, that's okay.
Lucas chaotic.
No, that's
today.
okay. My denial is deep enough that I am just fully unable to see that. So, tomorrow on this very channel, we have Caitlin and Olivia who will be the two lesbians talking about Twilight. That will be tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific time. And just in case anybody is unaware, Caitlin, would you mind telling us, explain that? Like, what is that going to be? What is that stream going to be about?
Well, we were talking about it right before this, and I did forget until you said it again. Like, we were talking about it 30 seconds ago when you said it. I got excited about it, like I didn't know it was happening. So like that, I guess.
Okay, then never mind. Olivia, why don't you tell us what that's about?
So we are going to be talking about Twilight. We have a lot of fun topics to cover. We have a lot of notes. We've been doing much preparation, and we talked about Twilight for a good 20 minutes before, maybe 15 minutes before this stream. So you should really be looking forward to that tomorrow at 4 p.m.
Excellent. Great, thank you. I was doing a bit, but thank you for actually explaining what was happening tomorrow. I really appreciate it.
I know. Thought I'd take some of that announcement.
No, that was genuine. That was not me being sarcastic. That was genuine. Thank you. You did a better job of explaining what was going to happen than my dumb joke would have. So thank you.
On the tin. That's all we need to say.
But yeah, so that will be happening tomorrow. Tune in for that. It will be very exciting, I'm sure. On Friday, this Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific time, Ramblemancy, we have a returning guest, Jake Kyle, co-founder and co-runner of Q Times, who will be back to tell us all about dark campaigns. I'm very, very excited about that. So, yeah. And then, of course, on Saturday, I will be continuing my Mass Effect playthrough. Let's see how many side quests I can ignore to get me through the just wonderful experience of playing through Mass Effect 1. At this point,
just don't kill the people. Just don't let them die.
I think that's mostly impossible in Mass Effect 1. So, I think there's scripted deaths where you have to choose who dies, but otherwise I think it's mostly impossible.
Fucked up.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up. Anyway, wow, it's really weird how chat is just completely silent right now. I don't know what
this
is.
Can't stop me because I can't read.
Anyway, excellent reference. So I think that's mostly all we've got. I think those are the big announcements. That's what we've got coming. We are kind of in the end game for the season, though. That I will say, for the season of Infinite Horizon, we are. I'm not going to say a date because there's no better way of cursing us than specifying when it's going to end. We're just going to say
this is the last episode. Okay?
Today. No,
everything's
surprise.
No.
We are going to say sometime in early July is probably when this season will be over. So yeah, that's a thing that I've still not really fully registered. So
time is flying in a very strange way.
Yeah,
that it is. Y'all, we are halfway through this year. Isn't that weird?
I didn't ask for that knowledge.
Dun, 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 dun,
Why'd you
dun.
tell me that?
Offered it up for free. I'm a giver. It's what I do. All right. So, anybody else have listen. Listen. if my wonderful players here have anything to say about it, yeah,
It's called Infinite for a reason.
Yeah.
that's true. We kind of did this to ourselves. Anyway, it's like everybody laughing about Exandria Unlimited being only 8 episodes, right? It's unlimited, but it's only 8 episodes. We're Infinite Horizon, but our season is ending, so you know. Anyway, that's all I have for channel announcements. Anybody else have stuff they want to talk about at the top of the stream?
Power Play's back. It's
Sure
fun. If you want more superhero stuff, you can join us over on twitch.tv/qtimes on Sundays at time zones 5 p.m. Pacific.
There you go.
We had our season premiere last Sunday. We'll be back same time, same place this Sunday, and all of it's available on the YouTubes.
Excellent.
I stream all over the place. And the main thing I do want to shout out is that a new campaign I'm going to be in, I actually need to add to my calendar because I completely forgot, is I'm going to be over on One More Multiverse, which is the Teacher B little company I work with. And we're going to be playing a D&D campaign miniseries called the Shepherd Trials. And I am very excited for it. We're playing some awesome people, got some character art as well, which I am so psyched about. The character art is by Sarah.
That's really good.
Oh god, I'm so excited. And it's going to be at 5:30 Eastern every Wednesday. So like right before this, and it's I'm going to be in an actual play before this, and then hop over here. So if I'm ever mixing my words up, that's why. But yeah, no, I'm very excited. I'll be honest, my character is loosely based on, got some inspiration from Bina. I'm going to be straight up honest. For some inspiration from there. So let's hope I don't do Caitlin. I was going to say don't do Caitlin proud, but that's not the word I'm trying to say. I'm tired.
You never
I'm
want to
hoping
do
I
Caitlin proud.
do Caitlin proud.
That's such an ominous statement. For what?
I've been there.
Once she believes in you, her expectations just keep rising, and it's just.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love my friends. I would like to put that on the record.
Yes, no, sorry. Yes. Caitlin's wonderful. She's paying us to say this, okay? She's got my parents hostage.
That was dark. That was dark.
See, I'm bringing my own energy to this as well.
Good, yes.
I'm
Really had to resist
I'm
the
very
urge to make a
loopy.
Twilight joke there. So it's
Oh my god. Okay.
We're
All right.
all over the place. All of us are just a mess.
Okay. Save it for the stream tomorrow, Olivia.
right.
We can't help it. We watched 8 hours of Twilight yesterday.
gotta go
It's all that's
somewhere.
in there. It's gotta-
I think I see them in the distance, everyone.
In
I
space.
see
We'll
them.
be in space.
Rails.
Fine.
Rails,
The
they're in the
rails, I see him.
I see them. But we're going away.
Oh my god.
Going-
Okay. Am I seriously the one who's expected to like get us and our shit together today? Because that's not
No.
gonna happen.
We are doing this.
All right. So
Any more announcements?
I don't think so. Let's
Buy Olivia's book. Okay.
Yes. And
Thank
follow
you.
Remy on Twitter.
Yeah, those are the
let's
announcements.
just fucking start this episode. Welcome back, everybody. So while I pull myself together here, previously on Infinite Horizon, the crew discovered that Calvin Hayes and Axel Galt had taken a shuttle into dark space with the artifact, After evacuating non-essential personnel, they took the Bellerophon in pursuit. With the crushing emptiness of travel through dark space weighing on the crew, Vix happened upon CT and expressed curiosity about his powers. When CT explained his heightened ability to absorb and process information, Vix asked CT if he could help him understand what was holding his own powers back. CT told Vix that there are two possible ways to access his powers: eschewing all consideration of emotionality, both in himself and others, to achieve fundamental mechanical understanding, or through a deep empathetic connection. The implications of CT's assessment giving him much to think about, Vix took his leave to consider CT's words. The Bellerophon's pursuit into the Tatters was complicated by a massive school of void Doraga attacking the ship. The Doraga knocked them out of FTL near a rogue planetoid where the bridge crew detected the Bellerophon's missing shuttle. As they closed with the planet, the Doraga abruptly broke off pursuit. Shaken but relieved, the crew landed and discovered a nearly completely intact Astrophel structure. As Peach led them through the structure in search of Hayes, they found Galt, uninjured but afflicted with an unknown malady, and thus unable to provide them with any useful information. Moving deeper into the structure, the crew found Hayes and the artifact in a massive room, but before they could reach him, they were stopped by Damian Ellis. Or so it appeared. It quickly became obvious that the being in front of them was not Ellis when it referred to itself as what remained of the ex-CEO. Ellis's image vanished as the room lit up, revealing the floating bodies of hundreds of warped, and a formless being that spoke through them, introducing itself as Figment. When the crew asked what it wanted, Figment replied that it was a being of silence and darkness that was now aware, and that all awareness must end. Peach attempted to wrest the artifact from Hayes and Figment, but was caught in the battle of wills against Figment. The artifact shattered under the strain, creating a blast of energy that Taeon recognized as the time anomaly he'd come back in time seeking, but on a small scale. The energy spread through the room, disintegrating everything it touched before collapsing in on itself and disappearing. Figment vanished in the blast, and the crew were forced to escape from the warped, but not before CT kicked a now fully warped Hayes off the edge of the platform. After escaping the facility, the warped, the crew met to discuss the implications of their encounter with Figment, and resolved that their only option was to seek out the Voc'Zora and learn their secrets. There is actually one last announcement, and that is, eat shit, John. So trying to distract me while I'm reading the recap. Anyway, that's where we left off. So, yeah, that's what you get for having keeping the recap on a shared Google Doc. Anyway, so that's where we left off. I'm gonna go ahead and say that because last time when we left off, y'all were making your way back. The Bellerophon was making its way back out of dark space, headed back in the direction of Sulon, where you had sent all of the evacuated non-essential personnel from the Bellerophon before heading into dark space itself. So I think right now, seeing as how the distance of travel between the conduit and Sulon is pretty negligible, we're gonna go ahead and just sort of jump to y'all arriving on Sulon. So as the Bellerophon begins to initiate docking procedures, I'm gonna say that y'all are on the excuse me. Actually, hold on. Let me think about this for a second. I think y'all. We'll start with all of you being in the captain's ready room, having been called there by the captain that you sort of basically convinced to help you go after Mr. Calvin Hayes. At the moment, the captain isn't present, as she is in the process of overseeing the docking procedures. So basically, it's all of you just sort of waiting for her in the ready room. So, give me a second here while I find what I'm looking for. As you are, oh, actually, before I even get started on that, let's go ahead and make it actually sound like you're on a ship. How about that? So, as y'all are sort of sitting and waiting, I'm gonna say, is it a fair question to, is it a fair assumption that none of you have particularly slept well since all of that? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair
think so.
assumption.
Yeah. So how is everyone feeling at this point?
I think Taron has like a. I don't really have to explain. I guess he's got like an anxious energy of him right now. Kind of, he can't stop moving, but it's not like anything from excitement or anything. It's like now he has an idea of what could have caused these anomalies, and now you're just like, that's all you can really think about right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's just when will it happen? How does it happen? So it's kind of like probably bouncing his leg up and down. Oh, actually no, he's pacing right now. At this point, so he's just pacing around the captain's I'm assuming like the bridge or wherever the captain resides.
Yeah, this would right now. You're kind of all waiting in the captain's ready room, waiting for her to join you there.
Yeah, so he'd be pacing up and down the ready room.
Oh, Mason's trying to drink his coffee slowly and not just like chug the whole thing in one go. He's just trying to like pace himself with his coffee, kind of just like looking at it, contemplating, looking quite pensively in his coffee and just like trying to keep his shit together.
Peach has probably been on call with like Wire and then like lots of different people from the Resistance, just like talking through plans and just going over a million different things. And that's definitely like probably what she's been up to almost the whole time.
Yeah.
Bina already doesn't always get a full night's sleep anyways, so like having less sleep than she normally has, I think is just like groggy, like wilty antennas, just kind of like zoning out like at something in the room. It's like waiting to be told what to do kind of vibes.
C2 probably looks fine as he always does, but is like situated in a corner of the room, sitting in a chair, just like watching everybody, and looks, maybe has like a very intense, like in thought look on his face, but pretty par of the course for him.
Yeah. As you're waiting, probably only about, like, you can feel the sort of subtle shudder of the Bellerophon as it finally kind of comes into dock, and is basically the shudder caused by the connection of the docking clamps. And as you feel that, you hear the door to the ready room just open, and Captain Ramalina walks in, and with the first mate in tow as well. That is Heron Vastret. And as you walk in, or as they walk in, she kind of nods to each of you and says, "Well, we've made good time back to Sulon. We are just finishing up final docking procedures, and then you'll be free to disembark. I wanted to invite you here personally because I just wanted to thank all of you for making sure that everyone got out all right, made sure that we made it in and out of the tatters intact. I don't think we would have gone in there without you, but it's good that... I'm just glad that you were there."
We're glad you were there.
Yes, the thanks should be shared. You performed most excellently for commanding the ship.
Had some practice. So, I'm in the process of contacting Mr. Hayes' estate and making certain that all the contracts are honored. In spite of the fact that we never completed the expedition, we still are... Everyone who took part in the expedition is still owed their promised pay, as per the contracts everyone signed, so... I'll be looking into that, and, making sure that, well, a certain amount of additional hazard pay is included.
How very generous.
It's definitely owed.
Yeah, it's the least you deserve.
Agreed. Well, I'm afraid that I don't have anything more to offer you than that, but if you ever require the services of myself or my crew, you know how to contact me.
Will do. And I sincerely hope we don't have to go back into the tatters anytime soon.
I think myself and the entirety of my crew will agree with you on that.
It's a good one to put on your resume, though, right?
Yeah. Never exactly been one for the spotlight, so...
I do want to say, I hope I'm not speaking out of turn. The turn kind of looks at everyone and then looks back to the captain. But if you ever need our help, the call goes both ways. You can reach out to us as well.
I appreciate that. Thank you. At which point you can see as you can hear the chime of her comm as she reaches over and says, "This is the captain. Go ahead." "Yes, Captain. We have finished docking procedures and are ready to begin. We are ready to disembark." "Very well." And she closes comms and says, "Well, you are free to disembark at your leisure."
Thank you again.
As you all are sort of exiting, returning to your quarters and gathering up your stuff, as you are kind of gathering up at the loading dock, you notice that Duran, the chief engineer, is present with amongst the entirety of the Kamathi engineering team, who appear to be they have all of their stuff with them as well, having completed their term on this expedition. Also appear to be leaving the Bellerophon. And as you're all kind of gathering, Duran walks over to you, Bina, and says, "Hey, so thanks for all your help down in the engine room."
Glad to be of service. It's a beautiful engine room.
Yeah, well, did good work, and yeah, don't let it go to your head.
Never. Good luck.
Yeah. He kind of his eyes sort of sweep across the rest of the group and he nods, says, "You too. If your lives are anything like what I just witnessed over the course of the last week, then you're gonna need it." And he kind of walks back to rejoining the rest of the engineering team.
Bina goes, "Aw, I think he liked you guys."
Vix just crosses his arms and goes, "That was liking us?"
Mm-hmm.
Taylor's gonna kind of look to everyone's go, "If you're gonna head out, I'll be back with you and I'll meet you up with you in a sec. Just give me a moment."
Bina was gonna catch your eye like a. You
He's just gonna
Just like a you good. Like I'm not making
Yeah.
you stop or anything, but like a
Yeah, he just kind of like gives a slight nod as he walks over to the engineering crew,
Mhm.
and he's gonna go find Kital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you find her as she's just sort of
my
like
gosh.
securing the straps on one of the like cargo sleds. She's like securing the straps on some of it, and looks up as you approach. Oh, hello.
Hey, hello. I went back to the engine room to see if you were there, but I just seemed to be already all packed up and met you here. So I just wanted to say I'm very sorry about just walking away like that when we first met.
Oh no, there's no need. It's fine. I I was a little bit confused about that, but
Yeah, no, that's fair. I think most people would be confused if someone immediately walked away upon meeting them for the first time. But I'm Taeon, and yeah,
Taeon.
stretches out our hand to shake.
yeah, she reaches out and takes it. It's really good to meet you.
It's good to meet you too. Are you okay? The Bellerophon went through a bit.
It was nothing to. I got to crawl inside the FTL, which was a lot of fun for me.
Oh, you got to do that.
When it went down, yeah. I'm the resident FTL expert, so.
You probably shouldn't tell Bina because I feel like she'd be very jealous of that. But that's cool. Well, I mean, that's a story you can tell for sure.
Of course.
Not many people go to the tatters and make it out.
No. No, not at all. It was actually really exciting. Are you getting off here at Sulon?
Yes. The crew of Awakener and I are just going to be heading off to, I guess, go on the second half of our mission. So, no rest for the wicked.
Well, it's a shame you can't stick around. I would have loved for you to meet my husband, who's coming. He's joining us here on Sulon in a few days.
Taeon just like, kind of, he freezes for a moment, but then just like relaxes immediately afterwards and just goes, I think I'll probably meet you two again soon. So I guess it's not a goodbye, more of a see you later.
That's a good attitude to have, yeah. I look forward to it.
So do I.
You hear somebody call, Kital. Where are those cargo manifests? Do you still have them? And she says, yep, just one second. Well, it was really good to meet you, Taeon.
Taeon, yeah.
All right. She says, 1 minute, and she grabs. You can see she grabs like the tablet off the top of the cargo sled that she was just securing cargo to, and walks over.
Taeon just like, it's like he had all of this anxiousness and nervousness pent up at the moment she walked away. Just all of it's like, oh. Kind of just nods to himself and turns back to meet up with the rest of the crew.
All right.
Can CT go check on that the other Voc'Zora?
Yeah, I am sort of imagining that you have kind of collectively taken custody of that Voc'Zora. So like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
they're probably with you, with Abriel doing her best to attend, but it's not exactly her area. But yes, that the Voc'Zora has been basically like put back together, essentially, like their physical body put back together, and is still has still not regained consciousness at any point, but has been sort of transferred to a more like a medical gurney, essentially. As opposed to the sort of examination slab that they were strapped to before. As you approach, Abriel sort of accompanying the gurney to the loading dock, she looks at you and says, "There's been no change. I think the sooner we get them to your people, the better."
That would be the most preferable solution.
But for now, I mean, to the best of my ability to ascertain, They're stable.
Continue to provide me with updates should anything change in that.
Yeah, will do. And with that, you all disembark from the Bellerophon as the loading dock ramp extends out and connects with the landing platform on Sulon itself. We're gonna go ahead and jump a little bit ahead as y'all make your way across town, arriving at the estates where you left Awakener. And as you approach the landing platform where Awakener has been left, you can see that both Jade and Ada are kind of running towards you as y'all are approaching.
I would like to fast step into just a hug with Ada.
Yeah. As you just sort of disappear from where you are, reappearing directly into her path, and as soon as that happens, she just splits, and both Adas just sort of jump and like hug you from yeah.
They are so cute.
Just a lot of kisses on the forehead, and like honestly, just a lot of kisses.
Yeah. And as you're approaching, Jade runs up and says, "I am so glad you are all back." I mean, it was great. I mean, it was fun hanging out with Ada and Becker. Sometimes he wasn't really around, but he kind of like looks over his shoulder where Cade is just sort of leaning up against the landing platform or against the loading ramp to Awakener, just sort of smirking. He says, "But she's kind of a lot."
Did you guys become friends? Enemies?
No. I think she just likes to mess with me a lot, and it gets old.
Mason just kind of chuckles at that. Yeah, well, try doing that for your whole childhood.
Hope the pranks didn't get too out of hand.
No, it was fine. I just can never enter any room without checking all the corners first ever again, so. Anyway.
Not ominous at all.
Welcome back.
Happy to be back. Where's Awakener? And she's gonna start walking.
Yeah, and Alma immediately like following behind you, so sort of like squeezes Jade on the shoulder and just like follows you to Awakener.
Give Jade a little hug before going.
Mason heads towards Cade and kind of. You weren't too hard on the kid, were you?
Come on, it's me. Of course I was.
Well, it's good to see you.
Yeah, you too.
Got a lot of fun out there. You missed out.
Great. Yeah, that's exactly what I want to hear when you come back from some sort of dangerous mission. Great.
No, it was actually really terrifying.
Not seeing the downside.
Yeah, that is the lifestyle after all.
Anyway, when do I get to see this super secret resistance base of yours?
Oh, we haven't been there? Soon as we go there, I'm sure. I'm okay with it.
Good. Yeah.
I mean, you have to guess the password first, of course.
How long do I have to think about it?
Maybe Mason will help.
Great. Yeah. Drink?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Yeah, that was not going to take no for an answer. Let's go.
I know where just to go.
All right. So I'm going to say before we get too far into this, let's go ahead and. Is there anything in particular that? What are some things? I assume there are things that y'all want to do while you are still on Sulon.
I'm guessing everyone's been briefed about what we saw. I think I remember Pete saying that there was a bunch of cords between wire.
Yeah.
But I don't know if everyone here. So like, I don't know if Ada and Jade and everyone knows about it. So I guess we'll brief them about everything that's
Sure.
going on.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Would Cade be in the meeting with us?
That's up to you guys.
I
I
mean,
don't know. Will her and Mason be there? Would they be off drinking somewhere?
That could always happen later.
Yeah, like
Or
this is-
during the
This
briefing?
is sort of that's true.
I mean, yeah.
Got to get through it somehow. I mean,
Briefing and booze, B&B.
Damn.
yeah, no, okay. So we'll say that at some point you're able to all like kind of get together with Jade, Ada, Cade, Becker, and just sort of brief everybody on what the new stuff has been. After sort of talking about that, just the room is just silent as like Jade is sort of like looking between all of you, like hoping somebody is going to say just kidding, and like Becker just sort of sits back in his chair, just sort of frowning, staring off.
so I kind of just look at Ada and just say, the anomaly we saw was small, probably proportional to the size of the artifact. So what we saw, what we've been seeing and came back to stop must have been huge.
Yeah, that's pretty concerning. But I mean, at least we know. I mean, at least we know that that's where it comes from. It comes from the artifacts. But whatever.
I mean, at the very least, it narrows it down considerably. Before we had no idea where it is. At least now we do.
Becker sits up and he says, and it can't be a coincidence if that's the case that Ellis was obsessively gathering these things.
Yeah. I'll admit, when I originally came back, when we originally came back, the hope that I was connected to something that you would all be involved in was mainly because I just missed all of you. I will be honest, there was just a kind of a slight hope. Didn't think it would be this tightly related to, I suppose, all of your goals.
Well, it's a place to start looking. We also know that Ellis was in some way involved with that prime conduit, so that Silverbreak developed, so who knows? I mean, what are the chances that he's involved in two completely unrelated, equally bad, well, maybe not equally bad, but bad things?
Were the artifacts? Could the collection of the artifacts, could that have had anything to do with the the artificial conduit?
Your guess is as good as mine, honestly. Nobody really knows how those conduits work, but for all we know, they all have artifacts inside of them, but if they did, I think we would have had more incidents like the one you experienced.
I mean, theoretically, if a larger artifact-based thing makes a larger anomaly, and the artifacts are somehow involved with the artificial conduits, if a artificial conduit went supernova, that could theoretically make something the size of what you're coming back to stop. I don't know. Spitballing.
No, I mean, it's just a theory, but it's not any worse, any better than any of the other theories you've had. And honestly, sounds just as likely. The chances of whatever's left of Damien Ellis, or I suppose Figment, working on two separate things, completely unrelated, are probably really small. There's probably some kind of link.
Mason kind of just leans on the table and kind of just stroking his beard and says, well, like any mystery, we have to start somewhere.
Where do you suggest we do that?
That's where the Voc'Zora home planet comes in, I suppose.
Hopefully they'll have the information that we need.
Not to rain upon it such an idea, but there is a reason that no one has located or attempted to locate it yet. We are not... It has probably come of no surprise that we are not always so forthright with information. And perhaps even with the amount of knowledge that I possess in my position, a lot of this is still new information to me. And supposedly me and others that are similar to me, the goals are, while we all share the same goal, we are all aligned in about the same level of information about these artifacts and the dangers that they possess.
Somehow we'll have to convince them that the secrets are worth sharing.
We'll have to do much convincing.
I mean, unless they want to see destruction on a grand level. Again.
You would be unsurprised to know that the Voc'Zora do care very little about the comings and goings of, and the livelihoods of many organic creatures.
I suppose that's fair.
And yet, this is a threat that faces all of us.
Yes. That would shift matters considerably.
This is everything the Voc'Zora High Council has feared ever since we came here.
Pash, you have not shared anything pertaining to our goals, no?
I have not. I trust all aboard this vessel, but those are not matters that concern them.
No, but it would be appropriate leverage for you all to use if you were made aware of it. What the Voc'Zora intend to do, why we exist the way that we do, comparatively, your lives as organics are technically infinite. You may create offspring, continue to live, and pass on your genetics. That is not something that the Voc'Zora are technically capable of doing. And so every Voc'Zora in existence is an original Voc'Zora. We do not have a means of producing offspring. And as a finite species, that is troubling to many.
We have found over the many centuries ways of extracting the consciousness of expired Voc'Zora, those whose physical synthetic forms fail them, and they can be re-downloaded into new bodies. But that in itself is finite and can only be done so many times before there is little recognizable left to that Voc'Zora.
I believe that the Voc'Zora that came before me and the one that was captured by Mr. Calvin Hayes was attempting, obviously, such a venture and feat, but perhaps believed that the artifact was a means to such an end. And for a while, as you spoke about the artifact, I almost believed that myself. But this clearly runs much deeper than a simple goal of a group of people.
There are those amongst our people. We are a people divided. There are those who wish to remain in obscurity, protecting ourselves from organics, and their suspicion of us, and who believe that we should fend for ourselves, that we alone are capable of realizing our destiny as a species. But there are others who believe that the answers to our problems cannot be found while remaining in obscurity. Those like myself. That is why I left my people. That is why I came to find you. That is why, when I found you, when you rescued me, I chose to come with you, because I felt that this was an opportunity to prove to my people that organics not only held the answers we sought, but could be trusted to help us reach them.
You were looking for us?
Not specifically, no, but people like you. Those who would not see me the way other Voc'Zora are convinced all organics see our people.
I'm glad you found us.
As am I.
We're really going to need you for this one, Patch.
I do not. I am starting to understand Patch's position as well. From your performance aboard the Bellerophon and your apparent knowledge with many things regarding the comings and goings of this galaxy and the powers that be within them, you are all interesting and capable people. And if any organics were able to convince the Voc'Zora of something, it would most likely be all of you.
Aw, CT, do you like us?
Gonna make me blush.
Do not twist my words against me. You are all still going to be held under strict observation by myself.
Is that a promise?
Yes.
We like you too. It's okay.
Becker leans forward and says, "This is great and all, and it is a plan, but there is another piece of unfinished business that we need to deal with before you head off."
We haven't forgotten.
Yeah.
If you don't mind my suggesting something I think you're not gonna like. I think that what you're doing, this avenue that you're pursuing, is currently priority. But we can't leave her here because I'm heading back. I've got to make my reports, and I made a deal with Riot that I need to bring to Wire so that we can flesh out the details. Honestly, I think the doc should come with us. We can hold her at the base. I don't see another alternative at the moment.
Taeyeon and I have been discussing some possibilities of what to do with the doctor, and we'll consider that as an option.
Whatever you decide. I don't know for sure, but my instinct is telling me that we don't have a lot of time. Especially if this Figment now knows that, well, that you know about it. Any plans that it might have had probably advanced.
Tang kind of just looks to Peach.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's already mentioned his idea and also whether or not it should be said out loud. So he just kind of like looks to Peach to see what she thinks.
I think we should probably go pay the doctor a visit soon.
Sounds like a plan.
He just kind of looks to like the rest of the crew to see if they say anything.
Mason just has like an eye raised.
Bina's just like looking back and forth between the conversation that's happening.
Okay, well, great briefing, everybody. Sure, we're all going to sleep much better with all this extra knowledge.
Hold on a minute, Miss Peach. You were very vague with your ideas of plans and instructions to do with this individual. And as it appears to be a matter that concerns all of you, would you be willing to share any of that?
Well, Tan and I have been discussing a couple possibilities for the doctor. We think that the best option is to prevent her from really being used as a pawn by the corporations, or whatever she wants to get into is to see if her memory can be altered.
And have you come across any solutions towards that specific goal?
I believe I should be able to do it with my abilities. I haven't tested it, but it's working theory.
Either that or incarceration, like Becca suggested.
I'm not suggesting that we imprison her indefinitely, just until we can figure out what to do with her. Like I said, we have her as prisoner right now. We don't know what the timetable is on whatever this is.
Until we know for sure, I say we take her with us for now. It's not the best option, but it's the option we have right now. And like, we know we have a timetable with this great thing ahead of us.
When you say take her with you, you mean to find the Voc'Zora?
No.
Oh, no. Back to HQ.
To base.
Oh, understandable. I think I can handle that. In all honesty, and I think Wire agrees. I think you should probably leave from here. Saves you trekking across half the galaxy. And
Mhm.
back.
No, that makes sense.
Besides, I think the Doctor and I have developed a bit of a rapport.
I believe it.
I know
don't
this
envy you.
is. I know that this all takes priority, but as long as the doctor's the way that she is, she's an armed weapon. Just be careful.
Oh, don't worry. She will not be conscious for the transfer.
We're all a very interesting group of people.
Oh, CT, you would not, but trust me, you don't want to meet this person. She really sucks.
Jade speaks up and says, well, if we're planning on leaving, I mean, Awakener's set up and ready to go. The only thing is he kind of like glances at Ada, who nods, and he says, the only thing is we might need a quick resupply, but otherwise I think we should be good. We can basically leave whenever.
I mean, the sooner the better. So maybe right after restocking, if that's good for everyone.
Yeah, we were just waiting for you to get back so that we can put together a list.
Well, I'll check the food rations. I probably need some ammo.
I can cover ammo if you're all right with that.
Fine with me.
Becker nods and says, all right. Well, I was also just waiting for you to get back before I headed out. I've basically finished my mission here, and so I'm heading back to base. I'll bring Dr. Amron with me, and I've already got Wire working on putting together some kind of holding facility.
Your mission was a success?
It was. At the very least, lines of contact have been established. So, who knows? This time, a couple months from now, we might have actual supply lines headed to the Resistance.
I'm sure they will appreciate that.
Definitely.
People will be a lot happier.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm glad you all made it back. And sorry I couldn't stick around longer, but I really have waited here as long as I can, so I'm expected back. Good luck with everything.
That's fair. You too, Becca.
All right.
Oh, wait, and Taylor's going to go up to Becca and like put his either hands on either side of Becca's face. Just a ritual greeting and goodbye. It's not a kind of thing. He just does it to Becca.
Yeah, he's just sort of like kind of gets a little stiff, like not sure how to respond, and then just sort of like awkwardly does like a head pat. Like he just sorry,
No, that was right.
Great.
Bina does want to talk to Becker before he goes. It doesn't have to be a whole scene or anything,
Sure.
but I do have a list of things that I believe Decker, is that the engineer on?
No, Brewer. Brewer is the lead. Yeah.
Brewer.
Mhm.
Yeah, because I have some things that Brewer was needing that we're not getting handled, and if there's anything we can get on Sulon, I would like to send them back with
Okay.
Becker.
Yeah, sure. Easy enough to do. I think that's definitely something that Becker can handle.
Can knock a few things off my list to make a special delivery since we're not going back.
Mm-hmm. There's
And we're
definitely
on
plenty of stuff on that list that'd be easy enough for Becker to pick up without like having to track it down.
Yeah, I figured since we're on like Sulon, maybe there's some stuff we can get from here.
Mhm.
Just like not send him too far out of the way, but whatever we can get, so I can get something back to the engineering team.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds good. All right. So if let's cut a little bit ahead as we're gonna say Mason, as you're kind of like doing that quick like rations check and all that.
And coffee,
Yeah.
the usual.
Coffee and rations.
The important things.
We'll say as you are oh, did I really do that? I did. Okay.
I think at some point Mason would probably sit down and take a break from like looking for stuff, just like, oh.
Yeah. We'll say that it's at that moment when as you're kind of like taking a break, you can see you hear somebody walking into this kind of the storage area, and you look up to see Alma walking in, and she says, "Oh, hey, sorry, didn't realize you were still in here.
No worries.
I was just coming to see we're running out of cocoa in the in the galley. Apparently Jade has really gotten into it while we were gone."
Oh, no worries. Hold on, let me just make a note. What flavor?
I'm actually
know?
not sure.
Because I have like a dozen
Just-
of those different
just-
flavors.
just to-
It's like,
Just get the regular. Just get regular. Original.
I have
the
not.
classic
I had
is
a-
the best.
Classic, yeah. I don't think I've had hot cocoa classic. I've had the mint one. Little mint.
That's my least favorite one. I don't know how you drink that.
I don't know how I do a lot of things I do, but there's that.
That's fair.
But yeah.
Yeah.
How are you?
How am I? Yeah.
I know it's a loaded question these days.
Yeah. I don't know. She walks over towards where you are and just sort of like sits on a crate opposite you, and just kind of leans back. She says, am having a little bit of a situation, I guess. I don't know how to.
Situation.
Why am I even trying to be cagey around a detective? Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to. I don't have mind reading or anything. I'm just here to listen. If you want to talk, I'm not going to investigate.
Well, I appreciate that. No, I've realized recently that that Bina, you know, right? You know about you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a moment on the Bellerophon where I almost said something. And then we got interrupted because of course we did. And before I could say anything, and sort of had some time to think about it since then, and I don't think I'm gonna say anything. It's not, I don't know, I don't really know how to explain. It's like Bina is like the sun. She's so warm, and she lights up every room that she walks into and makes everyone around her better. Of course, I feel this way about her, but because that's just who she is. I mean, you can't expect the sun to love you back, you know? And it's not It's not about me. I know it's not. It's not that at all. I mean, it is a little bit, because with her whole understanding emotions thing and being able to sense them, the last thing I want is somebody like that, seeing the look of pity and regret on the face of somebody like that. Somebody who can sense exactly the pain that so I really don't think I can bear that. And anyway, with everything happening, I don't want to distract her, you know?
You know, I want you to listen to this as not as advice, because I'm not giving advice. I would never assume that role. But take it from someone who, through their own insecurities, didn't say the thing he should have said, and has had to live with that. Sometimes saying it, what you need to, is more important than thinking you're protecting someone's feelings.
Even if they're your own?
Especially. Because it might hurt now, but it'll hurt a lot worse down the road. And I'm not old man Mason yet, but I feel like I've had a lot of miles already.
Quite a lot of them in this ship, actually.
Quite a lot.
Well, thanks. I think I just really needed to say it out loud. Which I guess I haven't technically yet. But I don't know. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course.
I don't know that I would have This feels really bad to say. I don't know that I would have talked to anybody else about this. Thank you for being there.
Of course. Of course. I have to.
She stands up and walks over to you and gives you a hug. And she just says, "That's the thing, though. You don't have to." She just kind of like puts her hand on the side of your face and just smiles and says, "All right. I'll think about what you said. But for now, I think either way, whatever, either way, I think it makes sense to wait."
You have to do what feels right, of course.
Yeah.
Right now.
And you need to add some cocoa to your list.
Yeah. I'm gonna add a mint one in there too.
Don't even
Don't-
dare.
It's for me. And if you need any like investigation stuff, I do that too.
She says, "Are you offering to spy on Bina and get information from Bina for me?"
I didn't say it out loud.
No, right, no, of course not. Thanks.
I think Mason always has a cup of coffee with him. It's just like bursts from his hand.
That's his actual superpower. It's just
He
spontaneously
adapted. His whole thing's adaptation, and there's so little coffee around. He adapted to counter that by creating coffee. So, so he's still part of his
Perfect.
powers. It's still
Perfect.
canon. He just adapted to create coffee.
Turns
out
out
of
Mason's superpower is a lot more powerful than any of us ever considered.
nowhere.
He just never tried.
Yeah,
The applications are endless.
No, it only works on coffee.
yeah.
Worst superpower ever.
All right. Well, let's. Is there anything specific that y'all want to do when you're while still on Sulon before leaving?
Bina would probably, just because we're here, want to go to the like food cart plaza.
Yep. Makes sense.
Mhm.
That is fair. I'll say that you probably you definitely do that, and knowing Bina, you probably grab a whole bunch of a lot of stuff to bring back to Awakener.
Back, yes,
Yes.
yes. All
Oh,
4
yeah.
arms full of bags,
Yep.
and I'm little delivery Orzai, just like
Oh my God.
running
Yeah,
down the
like,
Coliseum, bringing everything back.
It makes sense, right? Like when you go grocery shopping, you don't also cook that same day, you know? Like you order out. You know, the grocery
Yeah.
shopping is for after the day
Yeah.
of doing grocery shopping,
Mhm.
you know.
Everybody's busy. We just got done with this really big stressful thing.
Yeah.
And now everybody's packing and getting ready to go and restocking stuff, and that's all stressful, and so I'm bringing back dinner.
Perfect. Sounds
Yeah.
good. Any other stuff other business people wanna?
I probably would have just checked in with the council. What was it? The council on
yeah.
Sulon.
Mhm.
Yeah, I probably just would have touched base with them just to see what's new, if they need anything from us,
Sure.
anything like that.
Yeah. I mean, basically, what you learn is that they have been coordinating with Wire
Okay.
back at the Resistance base, and have been with Wire with General Antos. They've all been kind of coordinating
Cool.
Sulon's role in the Resistance. So yeah, that all is well in hand.
Okay.
Not Sulon specific,
Mhm.
but with everybody running around, CT is just wandering around the Awakener, probably sunglasses off actually now too, so he's just doing rounds and looking at everything.
Cool. Yeah. CT, you do learn an interesting piece of information as you are walking around Awakener. You start getting interesting pieces of information about the ship. Some of it, not all of it, because a lot of the stuff is stuff that was a lot of the modules that were added to the interior of the ship. Many of them are the standard kind of modules that you can find available from most popular shipyards and that sort of stuff. But there are certain parts of the ship where you can find essentially the bones of the ship, the main sort of skeleton of the ship itself, the parts of it that aren't modular, the parts of it that could not be changed. And from those parts of the ship, it's interesting, but you're quite certain by the time you're done walking around Awakener, you're quite certain that this ship has extragalactic origins.
Yeah, he's probably he's gonna keep that to himself for a sec right now, and probably needs to take a sit down thinking about all of that, of the implications of that stuff. But
Right.
damn.
Any other stuff? Okay. So, with everything squared away, Awakener resupplied, Becker having secured Dr. Amrin aboard his ship and departed for the Resistance base. Little is left to do but to actually depart from Sulon, returning to unknown space in search of the Voc'Zora homeworld. And I actually think that's where we're going to take our break, because we're a little bit early, but it was a good spot to do it. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh yeah.
all right, so we'll be back in a few minutes. Everybody stretch, walk around, get some water, do what you gotta do. We will be
Take your
right back.
meds,
Take your meds, eat, unclench your jaws, stretch, all that sort of stuff. We will see you in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everybody. We are back from break. Hope you all got a chance to walk around, get some water, yell
Stab
about.
your Lucas voodoo doll a
Mhm.
couple of times.
I know at least one person did that, so.
I said his name 3 times in the mirror, hoping he would appear so I could give him a piece of my mind. But
Anyway, yes, when we left off, the crew was preparing to depart Sulon for unknown space again. This time, in search of the Voc'Zora homeworld. So, let's jump back in. We're gonna go ahead and jump to, as you are departing Sulon and the space near it, making your way to the conduit, the closest conduit. The reality of this situation is that in order to reach Voc'Zora space, technically, you would have to, under normal circumstances, you would have to essentially go back through the conduits, back through like corporate controlled space, and have all of like the credentials and that sort of stuff. However, these are not normal circumstances, and in fact, you are traveling with 2 Voc'Zora who themselves have access to, well, yes, technically 3, but 2, but have access to conduit sequences that are not common knowledge. So that cuts down on a lot of your problems as it might pertain to traveling through corporate space again, in that you don't have to. So, when you reach the conduit nearest Sulon, I'm gonna go ahead and say that like CT is probably the one to dial in the conduit sequence, and because I think I am right in assuming that CT would not want anybody else to do it.
Yes, absolutely.
It's just like the sort of don't look. So yeah.
the PIN number, you know.
Yeah, like hey, a little privacy, please. Yeah. So yeah, you were able to dial in the alternate conduit sequence. And before long, you find yourselves exiting another conduit. One that, Bina, you are probably likely delighted to find is not one that is on the galactic conduit map. Out beyond, actually, beyond the tatters, or rather further along them, near kind of the edge, like near the galactic rim, basically. Much further than anyone who is not a Voc'Zora has likely ever been in this direction. So,
If I may address that, while our adventure through the tatters was garbage for a lot of reasons, it was much more preferable then than it was now to deal with.
That makes me feel great to hear.
So from here, it's probably another at least a day to the Voc'Zora homeworld. During which time, I'm gonna say, there, as you all are like have basically come through the conduit. I sort of imagine that many of you are gathered in the cockpit to witness the emergence into unknown space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as you exit the conduit and Awakener goes into FTL, you kind of begin sort of scattering, going back about your business. Bina, you sense you kind of left in the cockpit with Alma and Jade, who Jade is currently just sort of like looking at the sensors, just sort of making sure. A little spooked by your stories of Void Duraga has been basically like on edge this whole time. Excited but on edge. But you
Understandable.
Yeah, you sense from Alma sitting in the seat next to you. Sort of you can sense her wonder at this, but there's also sort of this underlying sadness that you can feel in her. And as she sort of sets in, makes sure it does like the final checks for FTL, leans back and turns to you and says, I honestly never thought I'd find my way out here this far.
I did a lot of flying, but me either. Question, Lucas, are we in like the top right-hand quadrant of the
Yes.
galaxy now?
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hopefully our track record with befriending Voc'Zora continues,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that we don't offend anyone's inorganic sensibilities.
Yeah. That would be bad.
I mean, I can fly pretty fast, but I'd prefer to make friends.
Yeah, I know. I think I'm going to go and, I might actually go and take a nap.
Nice. Good call.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's been sleeping well.
All right. You have everything up here?
Go catch up on some Z's, and she'll kind of like spin around.
Yeah.
Spin Alma's chair so that she can get up and out.
Yeah, she does. She gets up and just sort of, as she's walking past Jade, just puts an arm around his shoulders and just says, I'm pretty sure they are called Void Duraga for a reason. And he goes, Yeah, no, I know. I'm just checking the scanners. Okay.
Bina will go, did you know that I could feel them?
He kind of
Just like a
looks
little bit.
sidelong at you and says, I did not know that.
Spooky. I thought I was gonna have to fly through without any visuals, just my brain. But it was good. They had lots of lights.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
Bina, I think you're scaring him more.
Am I?
he's a little nervous at that comment, but she's like, I'm okay. I'm okay.
I don't feel them, is what I'm saying.
That's. Oh, now. You mean now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
We're good.
Okay. Great. Gradually.
She'll kick at his seat from
Yeah.
far away, then she'll turn
Yeah.
back to the front.
He takes the co-pilot seat after a bit,
Mhm.
as everybody else starts kind of clearing out, going about their business. And you can see as he's kind of looking out ahead, as stars and clusters just sort of zoom past you. He looks at it and says, I really never actually thought that I was gonna come, not just out here to unknown space, but really didn't think space travel was in my future at all growing up. I mean, I wanted it to be, but I never thought it'd actually happen.
I mean, take it from me. First-hand experience. Weird things happen when strange Orzai pilots take you for a ride. Seems to change the trajectory of your life.
Yeah. Yeah. Looking at Jade, you can feel... You feel... like he's sort of subdued at the moment. Like, it went kind of... From the, like, nervousness and excitement sort of went kind of quickly down into just sort of... Yeah. And actually, as you notice that, you realize that with the whirlwind of the last few days, you'd noted it before, but this is maybe the first time that you've actually paid attention to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's kind of been moving. There hasn't been a lot of time to just sort of like reflect on it and really think about it. And you can see as he's no longer looking through the view screen, through the forward view screen. Instead, he's just sort of like picking at his jacket, like looking down, sort of picking at his jacket a little bit.
I'm gonna kind of like spin over, and I don't think Bina's feet fully touch the ground in these suits because they're not Orzai ships. So she's gonna kind of like spin a little bit, and she's gonna do some little kickies at him, at his like at his boots, until he looks back up at her.
Yeah, he does. He eventually looks up at you. Sorry, I just kind of...
You good?
I don't know. It's just... He sort of, like, spins the chair around and looks behind him, and seeing that, like, there's nobody else around, he just kind of spins back and just... I don't know. He was really nice, hanging out with Ada and Becker whenever he was around, but I don't know, I started thinking sometimes that, like, we don't really talk anymore. Like, you and me, I mean. Like, we used to... I don't know. And now it just seems like everybody's so busy all the time. And, I mean, it makes sense. There's a lot happening. But, you know. And then that just made me think, I mean, with everything that's happening, everything that's just sort of ramping up, and everybody seeming like they're kind of getting back to normal, you know, with after everything, started making me think that, I don't know, just I jumped on this ship back at the colony, and I stayed with you. I didn't really know what I was doing or what I was getting into. I just did it. And now I just think... I think maybe I didn't really think about it, you know? It's not that I don't want to be here or anything. It's just that what happens when all of you, with everything that you're doing, with everything that's coming, what happens when you all are able to get... what happens to me, you know?
Well, what do you want to happen?
I don't know. Guess I just feel like... I don't know, I haven't really said any of this out loud before, so I'm sort of working through it, I guess. Guess I just kind of feel like I'm getting left behind, you know? Like I don't really... Everybody feels like they're coming back to how they were before everything happened, and that's great. It was really hard seeing everybody like that.
But now that it's happening, I just sort of feel like I don't really have a place here anymore. Like, not that I'm not allowed here, but that I don't really know how I fit here now.
I think this like genuinely like stumps Bina. Like, this isn't like, I think this is news to her. Like, she didn't know he was feeling this way, and she hadn't thought, like, she hadn't seen anything, you know, different. So I think she's genuinely is like, oh, like, so she's kind of like, well, I mean, what can we do to help? I mean, if you don't want to go, we don't want you to go.
It's not that, it's just... you can feel, like, genuine frustration and maybe even a little bit of anger from him at this moment. Just, it's just... During that whole time when Alma was gone, I decided that I needed to... I wanted to feel guilty, and I wanted to feel like it was my fault, but then I realized that I couldn't do that because all of you felt so bad about everything that had happened, and all of you were so just devastated by everything that had happened, and I had to be there. I had to be strong for everybody, and now everybody's fine, and I'm not. Now I'm the only one who's not.
Bina's gonna kind of like hold out two of her hands out to him, if he'll take them.
It takes a moment, but he does.
She kind of holds on to him and she goes, Jade, you know that wasn't your fault, right?
Yeah.
Like, really, really? I'm sorry that you had to take so much on.
It's not about that. It's...
Well, I'm still sorry for it. It shouldn't have happened. We didn't mean to leave you alone. What do you need?
I don't know.
It's okay.
I think I'm gonna go and run some engine diagnostics.
Okay.
And he gets up and he walks out.
I think Bina just sits there alone on the bridge for a while, just like I think just totally at a loss. Like, I think that was completely outside of her radar for so long that, yeah, she got, yeah.
Cutting to elsewhere on the ship.
At some point I want to go find Vix.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, I would say that you when you go looking for him, you run into him in one of the corridors leading from the galley. Goes, oh, hey, sorry.
Hey, have you slept at all since we've gotten back?
At all? Yes.
I haven't.
Well, I haven't slept well, but yeah, no, not really.
You know, I realized that I never really asked you. Are you still able to use my powers at all?
Yeah, about that. I talked to CT, actually, and he gave me a little bit of info about how my powers work, using his powers, which I'll be honest with you, I actually still don't fully understand. He explained it to me and everything, and I do not get it.
So he told you your powers
kind of.
through
It's more
his
like
powers?
more like it's like he can understand stuff.
Huh.
But anyway, he did it with me and told me about my powers, and apparently my options are either to become just a totally unfeeling sociopath, or do the complete opposite of that, and there is no in between, because in between is where I'm at right now, and I can only do what Bina does, and sometimes what Alma does, but I've so far only been able to do this. And he gestures over to a light panel, one of the light panels that just sort of flickers very, very slightly. See? Terrible. Don't patronize me.
Sorry. I thought maybe it would make it easier for you to, either understand me or, hate me and then do the whole sociopath thing. I don't know.
No.
Which I don't think sounds good. That doesn't sound like a good option.
You don't? I mean, because I was kind of thinking, if it's a choice between, having to have anything genuine, any kind of genuine emotional expression of any kind, or, being a murderous sociopath, I was thinking one of those sounds a lot easier, actually.
Yeah, I mean, you have a point there, but I don't know. I knew you when you were younger. You were closer to that other one, and it wasn't a fun time.
Yeah, well, thinking about maybe making a comeback. Seeing how that fits on me.
Well,
if it makes you feel any better, I could always get back into my tactical gear and chase you around the galaxy again.
That really would not make me feel better. I don't think it would in any way at all.
You don't think that's a good idea?
No. Well, if you can't use my power, maybe I can use it to bring you in. So basically, there's no one around, is there?
Probably not. No.
Okay. This could be kind of stupid, but I'm a little worried about going to sleep.
What does that mean?
Oh yeah, okay. When we were, on that terrible planet.
Yeah, I remember.
That thing, and I don't know, it got in my head, and I pushed back, but I'm kind of afraid that when I go to sleep, it'll be there again.
Wow. So what do you want to do?
I don't know. I thought it might make me feel stronger or better to maybe if I could take you into the dream with me. Normally when I go to sleep, I can kind of do my own dreams. I can kind of do what I want, but it has kind of hijacked it before. And if it happens, I would like to have you there. If you're comfortable with that. I know it's kind of a big thing to ask, but
yeah. I mean, I'll do whatever I can, whatever you need me to do.
Sleepover?
Yeah, that sounds good. Just do know that it is taking every ounce of my self-control, my very notoriously terrible self-control, to not make this into a bit, to not laugh about this, and I just think that needs to be acknowledged.
I really admire your restraint,
Thank you.
strength,
Thank you.
your courage.
Yeah. Thanks. That means a lot.
Really impressive. You've really come a long way.
I think I'm growing as a person. Maybe even
I
becoming
think so too. For the very first time.
Yeah, no, I'll help you however you need.
Okay. Good. Hopefully it won't be necessary. And, we can just hang out, maybe Dream Beach or something, but, not.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. I'll tell you what. As I have always done, I will leave you to make the travel reservations. How about that?
You know just what to say.
Thanks. I try. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go and try to make a genuine emotional connection with Taeon, because time travel, come on. Let's...
So is it count as genuine if you just want to use his powers? Like, isn't that a reward? Does that kind of impact the whole genuine nature of it?
I am willing to experiment. Hey, at the very least...
I've heard that one before.
At the very least, he'll get really annoyed and he'll make that face that he makes when he's mad at me. It'll be great.
You like that face? Think it's cute?
It is gratifying. The fruits of an honest day's work.
Can I get a read on that at all? Like, how is he saying this? Can I get some details?
No,
I mean, I know it's fully sarcastic, but...
he's very, very serious about that. He is absolutely dead serious. Like, you can see, like, the glee with which he, like, the prospect of irritating Taeon is just, yeah.
Okay. I'm so glad you're making friends, even if it is just so you can gain their superpowers.
Hey, listen. Relationships have been founded on less.
True. Okay, well, I guess I'll message you when ready to sleep.
Sure. Yeah. Just let me know.
Thanks.
We're gonna be okay. Right?
Yeah. We're gonna be okay. And I'm gonna give him a hug.
Mm-hmm. No.
I'm sorry. Those void Daraga. I felt like so much has happened. I just needed a hug. I'm sorry. No, it's inappropriate.
Okay. And he just hugs you back. He says, "Fine. You really know how to ruin a moment."
Oh yeah, I'm good at it.
All right. So we will cut to actually, is there anything else, any other particular scenes anybody wants to have on this journey?
Is there time for like a quick call?
Yeah, actually, yes.
Okay. Mason's gonna retreat to his bunk area, assuming there's a terminal or a calling device there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's gonna make a quick call to the. Is it like a secure line to headquarters?
Definitely. Yes, absolutely.
It is definitely.
Yeah, Wire would have made sure of that.
Yeah. Mason just wants to make a quick call to Zaya.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mason just kind of like sits down and kind of just pours himself some whatever.
As you, it kind of...
I forgot to get ice. Damn it.
She answers after a moment. Just you can see in like the video a very sort of sleepy looking Zaya who just sort of is sitting in a dark room illuminated by like a single lamp. Just
what the hell are you doing? It's so early I can't even see what time it is.
Well, in that case, good morning.
Yeah, fuck you. Good morning. Hi.
Wait, what time is it over there?
I don't. She like reaches over and grabs something off the camera and just looks at it and just goes, "It's fucking 4 in the morning.
Perfect.
Somebody better be dying."
No, but we are going on a mission. We're going to be away for a while. I'm not sure if you've been briefed, but...
Oh, yeah. Wire said something about, the Voc'Zora. That's damn.
I just wanted to touch base and see how things are going over there on the base with everything since I've been gone.
Well,
With
yeah. I mean, things have been a little crazy with getting trying to get everything coordinated with our new allies over on Sulon, but for the most part things have been going as planned. We've got a few teams out in the field. How was it that Bina put it? Setting fires?
yeah, good.
Mostly successful. Minimal casualties. In fact, only injuries. No, nothing more. So. If I'm gonna be honest though, thinking that the corps are starting to take notice, and I mean, I guess it's what we want, but it's
Yeah, I guess even like I didn't even consider. Of course, getting their attention was the plan, but once we get their attention, the floodgates are going to probably just burst, and it's not something I've really considered fully.
Yeah, it really feels real now, like it hasn't before.
It really does, and I keep feeling like I'm not prepared.
Join the club. Yeah, I know what you mean. I don't know.
Yeah.
Guess we just gotta keep our eyes open.
Yeah, my eyes have been open for a long time, but I couldn't sleep without checking in and seeing how things are going over there. Like, are the cloud bells? What's going on with are they still around? Are they still?
Yeah. They're the cloud bells are still here. They said to say hello. Actually, they miss you.
Yeah, tell them to fuck off for me.
Oh, I will.
I know that I'm I have these abilities and I can adapt, but I can't get over the cloud bell allergy.
That is still the funniest thing you've ever told me.
Well, I'm glad I could provide some
Superpowers,
humor.
the superpower where you can adapt to anything except for cloud bells. That's truly even a comedy writer would have had a hard time with that one. That's immaculate.
Well, maybe I should consider a career shift.
Maybe you should. Might last a little longer. Then again, critics are harsh, so
I wouldn't stand a chance then.
Actually, gonna be sent out into the field not too long from now. We're Wire's got some stuff for me to do, and I'm gonna be putting a team together tomorrow. So.
You mean later today?
Well, fuck you for reminding me.
Well, I just wanted to make sure everything was good. You're doing all right and everything, and so.
Yeah. No, I think things are finally starting to feel like maybe we can handle what it is we signed up for.
Good. That's good to hear.
Well, since it's unlikely I'm getting back to sleep, might as well go get some breakfast.
Well, or try to get more sleep, but either way, yeah. I hope everything goes well.
Yeah. Good luck out there.
You too.
Come back or I'll kick your ass.
Sounds good.
And she just...
she ends the call.
Mason sees the call end and hangs out, kind of wondering what to do. Probably just keeps sipping on his whiskey. He's like, what do I do now? And just hanging out.
All right. Then if there's nothing else,
we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna cut a little while later as you finish your journey and you drop out of FTL. There is a rather large terrestrial planet up ahead of you. The system that you have found yourselves in is a system with four single sun, 4 planets, only one of which appears to be terrestrial. The others are there's a couple of just basically just dead rocks in space, essentially, and the very last one out is an ice ball. No atmosphere. Just like, yeah, just a frozen dead rock in space. As you approach, however, you can see that around the terrestrial world there are several very large, bizarrely shaped vessels. And as you're approaching, CT, you, for the first time in a few months, are looking at the Voc'Zora homeworld. The vessels that are in orbit around it are various and oddly shaped, many of which have almost like very geometric sort of shapes to them. Like, some of them are sort of this kind of bizarre L-shaped vessels, and still others are just look like almost like scaffolds in space. Still others almost reminiscent of like brutalist architecture, where they just are a bunch of geometric shapes that are just sort of slammed together. There really appears to be, other than the like hull colorations and makeup, there appears to be no uniformity amongst the vessels that you see. What you can see about them is that there is a medium, essentially what is essentially a medium fleet that is in orbit around this planet. For the first time ever, you are the first organic species to lay eyes on the Voc'Zora fleet.
Consider yourselves unique and lucky.
Let's hope that luck sticks. From what you said, it seems like we might have to take some convincing for them to allow us to remain the first to have seen this.
T, you should probably be ready to answer these comms.
Yeah, literally as you say that, the comm channel opens, and you hear a voice come through. Identify yourselves.
I pass the comms control over to whatever console CT's at.
This is the Voc'Zora known as Circuit, also CT. There are 3 Voc'Zora aboard this vessel, known as the Awakener, and several organic individuals that have passed clearance by all available Voc'Zora.
There is silence for a very long time, and about maybe just about 2 minutes later, you hear a reply, a different voice this time.
CT. Welcome home. However, the circumstances under which you return are questionable.
Yes, they require much explaining, and we would be very willing as a group to do such explaining if we are allowed to land.
The Voc'Zora High Council will be informed of this. Your request to meet them will be put through.
Yes, I imagine that will be a necessary route to take.
They will decide what is to be done with you. For now, we are sending an escort. Instruct the vessel to follow the escort and not to deviate from any predetermined path.
Yes, they shall accommodate.
The communication cuts out without any further instruction.
They will send us an escort, and Bina, do your very best to follow it as exact as possible.
That
Before
That was a warmer welcome than I expected.
How do you think that went, CT?
That was exactly what I expected to occur. Probably a little bit better, considering that they did not just want to shoot us out of the sky, but still remain on your guard and do not disclose any unnecessary information.
It is somewhat concerning that we are being met by the Voc'Zora High Council.
That was noted by me as well, and perhaps that we are not the only concern that the council has at the moment.
At this point, Bina, you are watching as several smaller ships, probably about half the size of Awakener, about 6 of them sort of seem to detach from one of the larger vessels and make their way over in your direction and immediately start kind of moving around you. These vessels are also very kind of strange and geometric in the way that they are shaped. And as they start sort of circling around Awakener, they sort of settle into like an escort pattern, and then 2 of them sort of move on ahead as sort of acting as sort of like, this is probably something Bina's very used to, as like this is the kind of formation that are used to by tugs to guide in some of like the larger freight vessels that Bina has flown before. So this is like a familiar maneuver.
Yeah. Bina will fly as politely as possible.
Yeah.
It was a barrel roll for the fun of it.
Yeah.
The light flying.
You are led down to not to the surface of the planet, but to an orbital station that is sort of just in the just above kind of the upper atmosphere of the planet. And you can see, even from here, you're watching as there seems to be like a whole ring of stations like this. In some of them, you can see that there appear to be space elevators that are going down to the planet, as well as in several cases, like the station that you are directly headed for, a skyhook that is currently not. Well, actually, it's the hooks seem to be secure. So right now, while the station is rotating, it does not appear to be actively lifting anything. But as you approach, you are guided to a hangar, where even from this distance, as you approach, you can see that there are several individuals that appear, like quite a few individuals that seem to have gathered on the landing platform that you've been directed to. As Awakener touches down, you note, looking outside, that these Voc'Zora are they are larger in frame, not like CT with basically having no synth skin or anything like that, but also not like Patch, who is built sort of much more, has kind of a much more slender build. These Voc'Zora are built like tanks. They stand probably about 7 feet tall, with shoulders probably half as broad, and armor plating that you can see. Like their exterior is plated with armor, as no head, basically. Where there would be head, there isn't anything. There is simply, like, in the middle of the chest region, there is simply like an ocular some ocular sensors, and there's probably about a dozen of them. Mason would probably be uncomfortably reminded of the war droid that you fought or evaded on the Silverbreak ship. Has a bit of like an uncomfortable flashback to that. And as Awakener touches down, you can see that they take up formation just outside of where Awakener's loading ramp would be.
Is there any like decorum we should know before we go out?
Try to just not speak carelessly and with any intent of violence or harm, both physical and emotional, towards any creature, whether yourselves or any other individuals that you encounter.
I think we can follow that.
Mason
X.
just like
I
pulls.
just fix a look like not threatening anybody.
Mason just pulls his harness off that has his gun and his ammo on it, and just kind of like plops it to the side and kind of just.
All right, so as you all proceed to the loading ramp for Awakener, you disembark, immediately finding yourselves on a hold on one second, on the landing platform, and as you look around, you can see that there is activity all around of Voc'Zora who are attending ships. It looks like they're doing maintenance on shuttles and things like that. It looks like a recent cargo pull that was loaded up through one of the skyhooks is in the process of being unloaded. But as you disembark, there is a whole. You're greeted by essentially a wall of these Voc'Zora guard. But as you are standing there, watching them, waiting for them to make any motion whatsoever, you see movement as someone else approaches. As you are, as you are watching them approach, you can see another Voc'Zora who appears like has roughly the appearance of a cybernetically enhanced Anzalonian, making their way towards you. And as they approach, you can see where they basically have sort of like a kind of like, you know, like Seven of Nine's kind of cortical implant, that kind of thing over one eye, as well as a sort of cybernetic jaw. And you see as she approaches, she turns and looks to the rest of you. Basically, just completely bald except for a single like top knot that is kind of held high. As she looks, she takes in the whole group, and she says, She takes in the whole group and then turns to CT, and she says,
we were not expecting you so soon, and not like this.
Yes, there were a number of matters that have changed. Additionally, there is an unconscious Voc'Zora aboard the ship that we ended up retrieving, and they are in need of attention.
Very well. I think it's probably reasonable to assume that Abriel probably had that Voc'Zora prepared to be unloaded. So you can see as Abriel kind of takes her cue here at this moment and pushes the medical gurney forward. The Voc'Zora woman looks and then turns back to you, CT, and nods to one of the Voc'Zora guard, who just reaches out, puts a hand on the medical gurney and just starts pulling it away deeper into the station. She then turns to the rest of you and says, "You are to be held here on this station until such time as the Voc'Zora High Council either agrees to meet with you or decides what is to be done."
We'll stay put. We'll stay put. We won't make any trouble.
We respect your decisions.
She says, "The guard will escort you to holding." And she looks around and says, "Is this the entirety of those aboard?"
Is it?
Is Jade and Ada with us?
I'm guessing probably everybody
Everyone
disappeared.
came on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, this is everyone.
She kind of looks around at all of you, and then her gaze sort of lingers on Patch. And they stare at each other for a moment, and then she looks away and says, "Very well.
I would like to make an insight spend.
Sure.
To see what was going on there.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead and spend your some 3 points from your intellect. So that was definitely, like, Voc'Zora are obviously like difficult to read, but there is no mistaking that was a very not. It was a look that stopped shy of being hostile.
Okay. Can I tell if it was hostility for bringing us here or hostility or something from the past? Can I tell, like, if or black past relationship?
I would say.
Is that a thing I can tell?
No, I would say it specifically has to do with the fact of what, like, basically what Patch has told you about themselves, which is that they were not allowed to leave. They left without permission.
Okay.
Basically.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
Probably the
Okay.
only Voc'Zora, likely the only Voc'Zora to have ever done that.
It's
Patch
not-
rocks.
I don't know why, but in my head I was like, "Is this like Patch's ex-girlfriend?" My guess.
She turns away and leaves as the Voc'Zora guard just sort of spread out around you and just start without any words just start leading you further into the station. They eventually lead you to an area it's not the most comfortable place you've ever been, but it's not like a prison or anything like that. It genuinely does appear to be some sort of it's not like some sort of quarters. Like there are seats in here, like benches that are basically like bolted to the walls. There's not much in the way of furnishing, but
But yeah, there is sort of like there are a couple of small tables that are in here, but otherwise, not too much. And yeah, as you are all kind of ushered inside, the door closes behind you, and you do see that there is an indicator over the door that indicates that it has locked.
I was gonna thank them for leading us here, but
Yeah,
click
I
to
think
exit.
they want us to not talk as much as possible. So
No, this is comfortable considering the circumstances, if you would believe it.
I believe you.
yeah, no, I believe you. For a whole planet to have never allowed organics. Still, honestly, this has been a lot better than I feared, so I'm definitely not complaining.
Do we think Awakener's gonna be okay? Because that's kind of we just had to kind of leave her there.
It would be unlikely for them to destroy it outright. However, they would probably perform their own analyses aboard it to just ensure that it is not an explosive rigged for any reason.
That makes sense.
But they most likely will leave it alone.
Vix just sort of leans back on the bench and says, "Great, waiting in a room with nothing in it that we can't leave."
You have good company.
Where? I'm just staring at Vix when I say that.
He just sort of looks at you and just says, "Hey, you said it."
Guess that bond building didn't go as good as you had hoped.
Kept poking me.
All right. Well, in fairness, I don't actually have a defense for that, so.
He says we could do this, and she, speaking of month, she goes down like wherever Vix is, and will like in light on the wall draw a tic-tac-toe board, and because he can do this
Yeah.
too, and we'll put like a square in one of them.
Because. Okay. Yeah. Sure. I think you just actually found a way of making this cool again. And he just. Yeah.
I
will keep him occupied.
Yeah. I want to turn to CT and just say, if they are watching us, hopefully maybe they'll think, this will show them we're not dangerous. Just our sheer foolishness.
Are you familiar with the term sheep in wolf's clothing?
Old earth animals.
I mean,
I've met a few humans that have said that before.
A little antiquated, I think, but
we are not a people to take any chances whatsoever.
Gotten that impression.
It is a trait shared.
Will you two be in trouble no matter how this goes?
Very likely. However, they would not do anything that would put us in severe harm to our existences. It might not be pleasant existences going forward should all of this go poorly, but I do not anticipate that happening just yet.
Peach kind of slides her eyes over to Patch, like to see if he's gonna answer any differently.
They are not really looking at you at this point.
Yeah.
But after a moment of silence, they kind of turn in your direction, say,
My infractions are more severe than those of CT. In all likelihood, unless the Council rules in favor of extenuating circumstances, I will be returned to the Voc'Zora Collective. to wait in storage until such time as the council decides my time has been served.
Well, we'll just have to convince them that we need you.
You, in spite of everything, you don't actually have to wait too long in this room. Maybe an hour or 2 hours, before the same Voc'Zora who greeted you at the platform returns, notably with fewer escorts.
Tic-tac-toe worked.
She
Wait, hold on. I thought of Tic Tac Glow. Huh? Is that anything?
I like that.
No,
Yeah.
that's great. That's
Yeah, that's
solid.
perfect. That's amazing.
cool.
It's kind of now. It's actually a competitive sport as well. It's really
Yeah,
big.
I think we should just end the session now. I think we can't get any better.
So you were escorted out. And you are all transported to a shuttle. As you load up into the shuttle, as soon as all of you are loaded in, the shuttle takes off and heads for the surface of the planet. The surface of the planet itself, as you are coming down, you're able to see that it's dry and arid. There are bodies of water for sure that you can see as you're coming down, but it's as you are making your way, descending from the atmosphere. You can see that the shuttle turns towards a series of large mesas, that on top of which you can see extensive structures built. Similar, actually, as you approach, you can see that they share a lot of similarities to the vessels that you saw in orbit, with that same sort of brutalist architecture, the kind of bizarre geometric patterns of the architecture that has been just sort of it honestly looks like building blocks have been placed on top of each other in strange configurations. As you approach, you see what at first looks to be some sort of large crane moving past some of the buildings, but as you get closer, you note that the crane itself is very likely a Voc'Zora, standing probably about 4 stories tall. And moving in basically like quadrupedal, walking from one corner of the city, kind of around the outskirts of it. You can see as sort of a much larger version, essentially, of the way that Patch's head looks. That sort of single ocular iris, sort of looks up, kind of unfolds from the main body of this Voc'Zora and looks up at the shuttle and watches as it comes down, making its way in towards a landing platform. And as the shuttle lands, you can see yet more escort that are awaiting you on the platform itself. Looking outside beyond that, you can see, as you are escorted off the shuttle, you can see what can only be described as Voc'Zora of every possible shape and configuration. Very few of them actually taking humanoid form. Many of them preferring instead to take shapes of a much more varied configuration. And as you are escorted to a transport, a sort of land transport, you can see that many of them have stopped and are just sort of
what you have to interpret as Voc'Zora staring openly at you, as all of them have stopped what they are doing and just sort of looking at all of you. As your ground transport takes off and begins moving through the streets, Patch turns and says,
For almost all of them, this is the first time they will have seen organic beings.
Well, they've seen some really weird organic beings for their first ones.
We are far from the norm. So.
Highly diverse, and probably for the better that they see such variety in one place.
I'm just going to imagine that they're smiling back, but you don't have to contradict me.
And I shall hold my tongue.
Before too long, you find yourselves, the transport that you are in, slowing to a halt in front of a large building that looks basically like an enormous cube, and on top of it a slightly smaller cube, and with sort of a ramp that leads, like a gradual grade that leads up to the very large doors, likely built to accommodate as many of the forms of Voc'Zora that exist. The interesting thing that you're noticing about the architecture as you are making your way up is that while there are definitive buildings, Voc'Zora seem not to be terribly concerned with distinguishing interior and exterior in their architecture, as many of the walls seem to serve primarily to hold infrastructure and to support levels above, rather than to actually protect in any way from the elements. The buildings themselves are not fully enclosed structures, and in many cases there are the only indication of inside versus outside is just a series of support struts that support the upper levels of the buildings. This one is no exception, as you arrive at the base of the ramp leading up to the doors. You can look in from the outside and you can see Voc'Zora moving about their daily business within this enormous structure. You are escorted inside, and as you move in, you realize that this building seems to have sort of an exposed central area, where you seem to be led. It's a little bit disturbing to note for some of you that the composition of the area that you are being led into is somewhat reminiscent of almost like a coliseum, where there is just sort of like tiered stands where there are many Voc'Zora that are sitting or standing, and the center of it is sort of a covered in, it's just a single low area that is covered in metal plating, where above that place you see a series of what you can only assume are the Voc'Zora High Council. What they appear to be, Bina, they look to you like some what they look like is just these large, almost like glass cylinders within which there appears to be just thrumming electrical activity, but that is pulsing with a pattern that does not in any way hold true to laws of any kind of electricity or anything like that. If anything, it appears random. There are 7 of them in total, different shapes and sizes of them, but all of them above, looking down. And as you approach, Patch leans in and says,
That is the Voc'Zora High Council.
Bina does like a little like a little like a, not quite a curtsy, but like halfway there. Like
Yeah,
tries
Ten
not to
kind of like
stare, even though they look really cool.
Ten kind of like bends his tail and keeps it low, like the Kenworth equivalent of it.
yeah. So, as you approach, the Voc'Zora woman who has been sort of escorting you steps forward and says, Voc'Zora High Council, I present to you CT and Patch returning from their time abroad, as well as their organic charges. As she looks up, there is no reaction or reply from the Voc'Zora Council, but she turns around and looks to you and says, CT, you have something to say to the council.
Yes, I do. Greetings, Council. It has been much time. The organic beings that have been brought into these chambers are those that can attest to the events that we have encountered and the danger that those will implicate across the entire galaxy. They pose no harm or will promote any violence towards any Voc'Zora or any creature any creature on this planet. We are simply here to discuss and relay what we know and have learned aboard on the journey that we saw together.
There's a beat, and then you just hear,
Proceed with your explanation.
These organics accompanied, and the additional ones are the rest of the crew of their ship. We were aboard another vessel that had captured the Voc'Zora that I have returned, and through our venture into deep space, we uncovered an object that these organics call an artifact that appears to have abilities far beyond what any creature has ever known. It calls itself Figment, and it poses great danger to not just organics, but the Voc'Zora as well.
Bina, you are actually all of you, as you're looking, you note that the kind of electrical pulses within sort of the members of the council, you can see that they seem, it's hard to tell, but they do seem to be a little bit suddenly much more erratic and frantic. There's a beat again, and then you hear once again,
We shall address this in time. For now, we require your explanation. Why have you brought organics here?
They are exceptional individuals that have proven themselves to hold compassion and understanding for every creature in the galaxy. And I can attest to the fact and to the ideas that Patch might have expressed during their time here, that they are fully capable of assisting the Voc'Zora in our goal.
We are not here to discuss Patch. And what of you? What have you to say for yourselves?
TT has said a lot of kind words, and I guess if it's not arrogant for me to say they're not lies, we do want to help anyone and everyone we can. And it seems like if there's a goal you all have, we could help with that as well.
We would not be here if it was not in dire need. Thank you for having us here. It's a great honor.
Why have you come seeking the Voc'Zora?
I believe we share an enemy.
They don't respond to that.
Okay. Us organics have only been around for so long. We've seen the wisdom from CT and from Patch, and we came to speak with you to see if we would be able to further that relationship that we've started already.
I'm going to have you, Peach, make a roll here.
Mm-hmm.
The difficulty of this roll is going to be, I think the difficulty of this one's going to be 7.
Okay.
Can I give an asset?
How are you doing
Encouragement.
that? Encouragement?
Encouragement.
Sure.
Social interactions pluses or otherwise.
I have an ability to help though. Damn it. Okay, yeah.
So persuasion.
Mm-hmm.
So is it 7? And then with the asset from Bina, it would be 6.
Yes.
And then trained in persuasion, so then I would be down to a 5. This would be a pleasant social interaction, right? I mean, this isn't a threat where I'm being pleasant.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay, so then I would be down to 3.
Okay.
And then free level of effort.
Okay.
Right? This is an intellect-based task. And then I'm gonna spend I'm gonna spend 2 levels of effort so that I don't have to roll.
Okay. Fair enough. Well,
7 down to his echoed Bina.
First of all, thank you, Cypher Unlimited, for the raid. Welcome.
Thank you.
Caught us at a tense moment.
As
of
always.
Friendship making.
Okay. So as you finish speaking, there is a moment where everything is just complete silence, which is eerie because there are lots of Voc'Zora present. The fact their inorganic nature means that they don't shift and twitch like organic beings do. They're just perfectly still watching all the proceedings. after a moment, the council responds.
The one you refer to, this figment, they are not known to us, but we have known those like them.
So you know what they're capable of.
We witnessed the extinction of our own galaxy before finding refuge in yours. This was at the hands of such beings.
We want to prevent that from happening again. It seems like you've made this your home, and if we're not able to stop Figment, you and others might be forced to run again.
If you have encountered the being, then it is already too late. We must leave.
It's not fully formed yet. It's still playing its game with other people. I don't believe it's reached the power level yet where it's too late.
And do you believe that this is the only such being in this galaxy? If you have met one,
Until now.
there are others.
How do you know that for sure? What if this is the beginning, the first one to wake?
There are signs. Beings of your galaxy have been taken from all over, more places than just one, more places than can be accounted for by one being such as this.
Actually, I think I remember. I remember that.
It has already begun.
And if we are to run again, where shall we go? If we cannot just return back to the galaxy from which we originated from. We do not have a simple ease of access anymore. No one in this entire galaxy does.
We shall reopen the prime conduit through which we entered and find another place. We have done it before.
And you just keep doing it over and over again.
We have yet to be presented with a reasonable alternative.
The alternative is being presented to you at this very moment.
You have presented nothing.
The beings here are capable of much more than what you think that they are able to do. We have all been affected by whatever this figment is, at least in a way that has changed how multiple organics and even some Voc'Zora operate now. We have been given abilities in order to change how we interact with this galaxy, and why should we not use those in order to try to stop what Figment is doing?
I believe
You've
we.
dealt-
Oh, go ahead.
You said you've dealt with a creature like this, a being like this. If you could give us any information, anything of its behavior, the abilities and powers it had, how long it took, all of that could be helpful to us to prevent this. And if we work together, I think we can. We can't run forever.
We've already beaten him off once. I survived a shoving match with it.
Survival is not the same as victory.
It's the first step.
And just because many Voc'Zora will follow you, and shall run, but what shall you do about the ones that do not wish to leave? Because there are many now. We have made this galaxy our home for many of Organic's generations. You will lose people. We will lose people if we split.
The woman who escorted you in here turns to you and suddenly just speaks up and just says, "They will not stay behind. They will not stay behind because the collective will leave with the High Council. The threat of expiration for Voc'Zora, left without the influence of the collective, will ensure that they will return with the council, and that we will remain a unified people."
We show you what we're capable of. Will you help us if you deem us worthy? We can prove to you that we are capable of doing this.
Offer your proof.
Bina is going to, for her, I'm sure everyone will want to do something, but for her, she's gonna kind of put her hands. How big is this room?
It's huge.
It sounded
Yeah,
large.
it's very
yeah,
big.
it sounded
Yeah,
large.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So Bina's gonna glow internally, and there's kind of like a streaking effect from like her core up into her hands, and that kind of glows. And then she's just gonna kind of like lift, and a little bead is gonna go up to the top of the room, and I'm gonna do a sunburst.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The small
It's my one. It's a not dangerous, but a visible
yeah.
representation of her power.
The small bead of light rises to the top of this chamber, and then suddenly expands outward, like you all have seen it do before. Actually, hold on. You see as suddenly the whole room is almost far too bathed in light. It's difficult to see in here now with how brightly this room is illuminated by this miniature sun that Bina has conjured in it.
We're more powerful than we look. And she's gonna look around at her friends to see.
That is not ridiculous. Like, I might just travel 10 years in the future. No. Yeah, I was going to do my classic time loop. So you just see his hands, the colors of an like almost like the Northern Lights, greens, purples, and blues come up from his shoulder down his arm, and he reaches out into the side and up to his forearm, kind of just disappears as if it's gone through a portal, and then he pulls back out another version of himself, and the moment he does that, his wrist computer immediately starts ticking down for the 12 seconds that this lasts, and the version of him that he pulled out has already had that down to a 0, and you just kind of both of them just kind of stand there and wave.
Do a little teleport or something.
Yeah, it's kind of fall back and forth between each other and stuff like that.
Anyone else?
Yes. Mason's gonna throw his coat down and just gonna run around everyone, and then gain more speed until Mason's going really fast, and then activate the fly mechanism and fly right into Bina's light, which won't affect him, and just like fly into the light.
It's gonna turn like a more bluish hue when he gets in there, because I can control the color of my light.
Sick. Okay. Pete, how tall is this? Like, where is it open or is it like
it is open. It does dome at a certain point, but it is still open to the sky.
Peach is gonna kind of look up at the ceiling, and she's only done this that one other time, but she's going to use Nightmare to make the Void Duraga appear and like basically be flying in this space above, like kind of like weaving around Mason, like kind of like in and out of Mason. That's kind of how I imagine it.
Yeah.
But I'm using like all my focus to make sure that it like stays contained and flying. Like
immediately around you, Ada just sort of splits, so that there's two of her, and you see as Vix just sort of like raises up his hands, and you can see a bunch of like smaller globes of light that just sort of like circle around him, and then you can see Alma is concentrating for a moment, and suddenly up above you, you can see as Awakener just sort of streaks through the air up above, having seemingly been brought down to the surface independently of you. And as all of you are there, holding all of this, there is, for the first time, there is actually a stirring amongst the Voc'Zora who are watching the proceedings. There's a beat, and then you just hear,
We will help.
Perfect. Could you give me 1 second? And then the moment he says 1 second, he just disappears.
yeah.
And then 6 seconds later, he reappears again. Whew.
thank you.
Yes.
We're honored.
We thank the council for their approval.
Forward to working with you. And Bina's gonna snuff the sun.
Mason will land.
All right.
You're just gonna let the void thing fly around for 1 more minute and then disappear.
Yeah.
Dramatic.
I think it's so cool.
In that case, you just hear,
We have much to discuss, but in particular, we have news. We know something that may be of use to you. We know something of the plans of this figment. At the very least, where they will take place.
I think it's safe to say where it is.
Hmm?
I think it's safe to say where it is.
There is another pause, and then you hear,
When we faced this threat before, they put their focus in particular places. In particular, they seemed very interested in seizing the prime conduits in our galaxy. It has come to our attention that a faction amongst your organic species has found a way to fabricate a conduit.
That's true.
Yeah.
This is where they are concentrating their efforts. This is where the final doom of this galaxy will emerge.
Bina's gonna kind of like look over at Alma just very briefly.
She looks over at you and nods. And steps forward and says, I have buried inside me some knowledge of where this place is. And I think with the help of some of my friends, I'll be able to find it. There is another pause.
Very well. We shall lend aid, and we shall recall our gatherers from the field. We will learn everything there is to know about this conduit.
Let's save the world. Galaxy.
I think that's where we're going to stop for tonight.
Oh, yes.
No,
and on the Mason one-liner. God. As it was meant to be.
God damn it, that was cool.
Oh my god.
I love Voc'Zora so much.
I know.
Fuck, dude.
Final doom. Love the ring of that.
It's the final countdown. Let's go. I'm ready. If that's not played at least once in the finale, I'm joking.
And DMCA slapped down on. All right. Well, everybody, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We will be back next week with more Infinite Horizon at 6 p.m. Pacific time on Wednesday. So, I think we've got a few. Since we did not have a 4-hour long stream, we can actually go into stuff. So Freeman, if you wouldn't mind getting into that.
On time we've been.
I know, yeah.
Welcome and thank you for being here tonight. We are Twitch affiliates, so slap that subscribe. Get some really cool emotes. I have to do that every time. Another really good way to support the channel, of course, is jump on a Patreon, become a patron. You get to access to our end of month media recommendations, things that we watch that we want to tell you about. And then you might be interested in, we have our tabletop tool chest, which is our bi-weekly little tidbits of world building that we create, and then you can take and make into your own thing, grow from there in your stories or your games. Of course, there's the world builder tier, which is awesome. You meet up once a month at the end of the month with the world builders, with the DM and the writers, John, Lucas, and you guys get to make things in this world, which is super cool. And
we love.
And we also have a merch, which I'm gonna. Do I have it? Yes.
Oh, I
got these mugs.
There we go.
And we have shirts back. We have t-shirts back with Infinite Horizon Season 1 and Season 2 art, drawn by our very own Caitlin Bruder here. I don't know where you are, sorry.
On screen, she's below you directly.
So yeah.
I'm like,
and stickers.
Here?
Well, you know what?
Right?
It's fine.
Right? Okay.
Of course, you always shoot a couple of coffees at our coffee. And if you want to see the show again, because it's so awesome, or you've missed it, you can always watch it on YouTube. Or if you were more inclined to listening, you can hit up the podcast and listen to all of it. Binge it. Do it. I don't know if all the platforms, I've completely forgotten all the different platforms that we're on podcasts, but
basically
check it out.
You can find the podcast wherever pods are cast.
I do
And
want
since
to.
it's on Anchor, you can just always get the RSS feed and just put it wherever you want to listen to it. So it's basically anywhere at this point.
I do want to do. I always forget to do this, or I don't always forget, but I want to do a shout out to Monte Cook games. This game's amazing. It's an amazing game where we can like role play and connect with people and each other, and we love it so much. Thank you.
Yeah, we here at Rule of Lore love Monte Cook games.
We are stands.
In case that wasn't clear of the hundreds of hours of content we made.
Cypher, we do know her at this point.
Well, now I'm
We
derailed.
know and love her.
No. Last but certainly not least, get on the Discord. It's a great way to stay apprised of what we're up to next. You can go on there and chat with us, share your memes, your dreams, and your D&D schemes.
Yep, that never gets old. I don't know why, but I love that so much.
So I was like panicking earlier because I was like, wait, what is that thing I say sometimes? I couldn't remember exactly. It was memes I kept forgetting, but every time I come to the moment, it kind of just flows. So, but yeah, get on the Discord. Can't say it enough.
Cool. So if you like what you saw here tonight, as I mentioned before, we will be back next Wednesday with more of Infinite Horizon, our sci-fi supers spacefaring RPG is in the Cypher system, as we mentioned before. But we also have other kinds of programming on this channel as well. This Friday and most Fridays, we have Ramblemancy, which is our roundtable style talk show where we often bring guests to talk about all kinds of nerdy stuff. It's a lot of fun. It's our chance to kind of hang out with you and actual plays aren't exactly the best way of interacting with chat, so Ramblemancy is kind of our way of doing that, like hanging out and being with you. Now, as a result of our charity campaign, this was unlocked during our charity campaign a couple of months ago. I am every Saturday. Every Saturday, I am doing a Mass Effect Legendary Edition playthrough on Saturdays at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Oh, and Ramblemancy is at 7 p.m. Pacific time. That's important. And of course, on Tuesdays we have if you're more in the of a fantasy bent, we have Into Deep on Tuesdays, our Waterdeep Dragon Heist actual play featuring an all LGBTQ+ cast. Now is as good a time as any to go and watch them because it is Pride. So what better way to celebrate than by going and supporting
We're D&D.
Yeah, exactly. So that is at 4 p.m. Pacific time on Tuesdays. And of course, special programming this week also unlocked through our charity stream. Tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific time, Caitlin and Olivia will be
hijacking
the channel with
we'll be there again. Can't get rid of us.
with our charity reward special, 2 lesbians talk about Twilight, which is exactly what it says on the tin.
And it's what we will be doing.
It's what will be happening tomorrow.
It's gonna be a lot, probably. It'll be a mess. It's gonna be exciting. Come whether or not you've seen Twilight, because we're just gonna like talk about all of the things we love and hate about it. And like I said, I think I've said earlier, we're just gonna essentially just like we took a bunch of notes as if we're not just gonna write verbal fan fiction for 2 hours. So like it'll be fun.
It'll be a blast.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I haven't watched it at all since it first.
I'm so excited
glad
for you.
I'm glad to have it.
Excellent.
I am here to share the news of a man named Edward.
Oh wow. Well, yeah. So you'll have that to look forward to tomorrow. And I think that is basically everything for the channel. If anybody else wants to plug your stuff, go for it. Right now is a good time to do that.
Power play on Sundays. Q times. Be there. 5 p.m. Pacific.
Oh, and our Ramblemancy guest Friday, is Jake Kyle, co-founder and co-runner of Q Times. So Jake will be here to talk with us about dark campaigns.
Yes.
I am all over the place. Follow me on Twitter, but I'm going to go through my schedule anyway. Mondays, I'm over on the D&D channel at 4 p.m. Eastern. I'm playing Candlekeep Mysteries. On Tuesdays, I'm over on Cobble Press at 7 p.m. Eastern playing a D&D campaign called Scarlet Citadel. On on Wednesdays, I'm going to be over at Wednesdays at 5:30 Eastern. I'm going to be over at Play Multiverse on Twitch in a D&D campaign called the Shepherd Trials. And then right afterwards, on that at 9 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to be over here playing Infinite Horizon. It's going to be great fun. Next week, we're going to be doing a Q&A. No, not next week. This Saturday, I'm going to be doing a Q&A over at Table Story for the Midsummer Mysteries. We finished that. We had the finale last week.
Nice.
Very emotional. Still not over how it ended, but promise of a season 2, so I'm very excited. And so we're going to be doing the Q&A, so ask any questions you want then. That's going to be at 2 p.m. Eastern on Table Story. We've been doing a charity event over on Friends Roll Dice, which is a TTRPG Twitch channel that I'm the co-founder of. And we just did a one-shot today, like it happened today, and raised $200 so far, so that's fucking awesome.
Oh yeah.
On Friday, we're going to be playing, I believe it's called Van Wizards versus the Majocracy. And that's going to be at 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern. So come watch that if you donate if you can. If you can't, retweet and tell someone who can. Every little helps. We're going to be raising money for the Chero project. So please do come. And that's everything.
Awesome.
I think yes.
Just quickly, Rose reminded me, of course, I do have a short book of poetry out if you guys are interested. Very gay, good for Pride Month, good for the summer. And I put the link in the chat if anybody is interested. It's an ebook. It's super short, great short read. So there you go. There's some aliens.
Excellent.
Follow Remy on.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Sorry, I don't have anything really big to
Appreciate
announce.
Freeman's beard.
Yeah.
Yes, appreciate
Wow.
Freeman's beard,
Wow.
the ghillie suit as well.
Oh God, I have been working on that. That's kind of a funny project.
Appreciate Remy as well. Follow them on Twitter. Commission them, even if you don't need it, just give them money. That's everything I can think of.
All right. Well, everyone, thank you so much once again for coming and hanging out with us on Infinite Horizon. We will hopefully see you tomorrow for Two Lesbians Talk About Twilight. But if not, we'll see you the next time you decide to come roll with us. Good night and good zone, everybody.